Sarah wants to know if her 64-year-old mum, who's been in ICU for 2 months on a ventilator with a tracheostomy, can go home with intensive care at home. Let's look at that in more detail today. My name is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecareathome.com, and I'll read out Sarah's email. Hi, Patrick. My name is Sarah. My 64-year-old mum is currently in ICU on a ventilator. She also has a tracheostomy. She's been in ICU for about 2 months, and she had the tracheostomy for about 4 weeks now. She's been told she may have to go into a care home, but she wants to go home with intensive care at home. Every test my mom has had done has come back clear, so the doctors have really no idea as to what resulted in mom needing a ventilator and a tracheostomy in the first place. She had a knee replacement last year, and her health declined after the replacement. Now my question is, can my mom go home with intensive care at home if someone could put a ventilator into her home? They're mobilizing her every day, and she's getting out of bed, but so far she's failing any spontaneous breathing trials. From Sarah. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing what's happening with your mom. Sounds like a really tough and confusing situation for you and your family. But let me give you clear, informed responses to your questions. So can your mom go home with a ventilator and a tracheostomy? Yes, absolutely possible for your mom to go home on a ventilator with a tracheostomy, provided that she's medically stable, even if she's still ventilator dependent. Medically stable means, her heart is stable, her blood pressure is stable, so she's not on any vasopressors or inotropes. Home intensive care service is arranged with intensive care at home. This obviously would include 24/7 skilled ICU or critical care trained nurses, which is what we are providing here at intensive care at home. Next, obviously, your home environment needs to be safe and suitable with necessary equipment and backup power, i.e., hospital bed, wheelchair, 2 home ventilators, 2 suction machines, 2 monitors, nebulizer machines, hoist, and so forth. But we can help you with arranging all of that and setting it all up, making sure that before you're going home, it's actually safe. So again, intensive care at home makes all of that possible because our service is designed for patients like your mom who are stable but ventilator dependent and want to avoid going into a nursing home or somewhere else or stay in ICU forever and a day. And the reality is, as much as the hospital might have shared with you, she might need to go into a care home. I argue no care home will take her, not in Australia anyway. No care home is set up to look after a ventilator and a tracheostomy. It's just not what's happening in Australian care homes. Now, a few other key things to know. Spontaneous breathing trial failure just means she still needs ventilator support, but it doesn't disqualify her from going home with obviously the right setup with intensive care at home with 24-hour intensive care nurses. If all tests have come back clear and she's mobilizing with help, that is a strong sign she may be suitable for home care if ventilation remains the only barrier. Hospital systems often push for care homes due to funding or logistical reasons, but your mom has rights, including the right to choose a home discharge with appropriate support like intensive care at home. And hospitals, even ICUs, don't even know what's happening outside of ICU, really, and they don't even know that the care home is not really an option for someone as complex as your mom, because she would need 1-to-1 nurse-to-patient ratio with intensive care nurses, even if she was to go to a care home. So what needs to happen to make a home discharge possible? Assessment by intensive care at home, to ensure the safety. Obviously, we need to set up a 24/7 roster with intensive care nurses at home, with emergency response protocols and physiotherapist protocols as well, care plans, emergency plans, safety plans, potentially home modifications and equipment setup, including ventilator with backup, suction machines, oxygen supply if needed, emergency power source, and like I said, suction machines, 2 ventilators, nebulizer, monitors, oxygen supply, and emergency power source. So next, funding needs to be put in place as well. But always keep in mind that there is a clear business case for your mom going home, because the cost of an ICU bed is $5,000 to $6,000 per bed, whereas intensive care at home costs around 50% of that. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. And the ICU clearly is already getting nervous wanting your mom out. So, we free up a bed for them, which makes a lot of sense. So that a win-win situation can be achieved. And if your loved one is in a similar situation, just reach out to us at intensivecareathome.com, or if you're an ICU consultant or ICU nurse watching this, or you're working in ICU, maybe as a physio, you're watching this and you know of other patients that would benefit from intensive care at home, in those situations, please reach out to us. So with intensive care at home, we are currently sending our ICU and critical care nurses into the home 24 hours a day. We are providing the following: home care services for ventilated adults and children with tracheostomies with critical care nurses 24 hours a day. A genuine alternative to a long-term stay in intensive care or long-term acute care. We're providing tracheostomy care, home care services for patients on non-invasive ventilation, such as home BiPAP, home CPAP. We're providing services for home TPN, also known as total parenteral nutrition, which is also known as IV nutrition. Also, home IV potassium and home IV magnesium infusions, IV fluids and IV antibiotics. We're providing central line management, PICC line management, Hickman's line management, as well as port management at home. We're providing nasogastric tube and PEG tube management at home, cough assist machines for our clients for airway clearance at home, palliative care services at home, as well as ventilator weaning at home. We're also sending our critical care nurses into the home for emergency department bypass services. We have done so successfully as part of the Western Sydney Local Area Health District, their In Touch program, saving approximately $2,000 per patient that we keep at home instead of them going to an emergency department. That also means we're in a position to cut the cost of an intensive care bed by around 50%. An intensive care bed costs between $5,000 to $6,000 per bed day. Our service costs between $2,500 to $3,000 per bed day. And we're freeing up the most sought after bed in the hospital, which is the ICU bed. Most importantly, we're improving the quality of life for patients and their families, which is a win-win situation for all stakeholders. Of course, quality of life is much improved surrounded by families instead of staying in an intensive care unit. With intensive care at home, we're currently operating all around Australia, in all major capital cities, as well as in all regional and rural areas. We are an NDIS approved service provider all around Australia, TAC and WorkSafe in Victoria, DVA, Department of Veteran Affairs, all around Australia. Our clients and we as a service provider have also received funding through public hospitals, private health funds, as well as departments of health. We are currently the only service provider in Australia that has achieved third-party accreditation for intensive care at home nursing in 2025. We have been achieving this level of accreditation since 2012. No other provider in Australia has created more intellectual property when it comes to intensive care at home nursing than we have. This puts us in a position to employ hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined in the community. No other service provider in 2025 employs a higher skill level in the community than we do, which enables us to look after the highest acuity adults and children in the community in Australia safely. If you are at home already and you're watching this, or you're stuck in an ICU, or if you're going to hospital and ED all the time and you realize that you don't have the right level of support at home, or if you're living in an ICU, I'll give you a very tangible and real-world example today. One of our first clients, when we first got started in 2012, was a client who was at home initially on a ventilator with a tracheostomy with a support worker model 24/7. Of course, support workers are not equipped to look after a ventilated and tracheostomy client. That is dangerous and it's negligent. Having support workers looking after a client at home on a ventilator with a tracheostomy is like flying the airplane with a cabin crew instead of the pilot, because anyone on a ventilator with a tracheostomy is at very high risk of medical emergencies 24/7, or even at risk of dying if they don't have a team of critical care nurses looking after them 24/7 at home. This is actually evidence-based and is documented in our mechanical home ventilation guidelines that you can find on our website at intensivecareathome.com. Think about it, in an intensive care unit in a hospital, you wouldn't have support workers looking after your critically ill loved one or after any critically ill patient on a ventilator with a tracheostomy. So why would anyone in their right mind would do that in a home care environment in the community? So this client found out about us eventually, and the ICU that he went back to all the time also knew about us and eventually reached out to us, and we were proving our concept with this client very fast. When we worked with this particular client, we sent him intensive care nurses 24 hours a day, and he never ever went back into ICU ever again, as long as we were working with this client. We can do the same for you if you're not safe at home, and help you with keeping you at home predictably. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in business. The same is applicable for those stuck in an ICU, similar to this case study that I've given you. Or if you're going back to ED all the time, please reach out to us. We can help you with taking you through the right steps, including how to get funding with different funding bodies. This is also why we are providing level 2 and level 3 NDI support coordination. We have a team of NDI support coordinators, and they have a wealth of knowledge. I've done an interview with Amanda Richards, one of our NDI support coordinators, and I'll put a link to an interview with Amanda in the written version of this blog. We're also providing TAC case management in Victoria. If you're an NDI support coordinator or a case manager from another organization watching this and you're looking for nursing care for your participants, please reach out to us as well. And if you need more evidence for nursing care, we're also writing nursing assessment, NDI's nursing assessments with legal nurse, critical care consulting nurses. And if you are a critical care nurse and you're looking for a career change and you want to join a very progressive, dynamic, and high-performing team of critical care nurses in the community, we're employing hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined, and you can join this high-performing team. If you're looking for a career change, we're currently hiring for jobs for critical care nurses in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, in Albury-Wodonga, in Bendigo, in Geelong, and in Warragul in Victoria. If you have worked in critical care nursing for a minimum of 2 years, pediatric ICU, ED, and you have already completed a postgraduate critical care nursing qualification, we will be delighted hearing from you. I do have a disclaimer though, because we are offering a tailor-made solution for our clients, which includes regular staff. Our clients also do want the same staff coming over and over again, because they are so vulnerable and so special, and that's why we need regular staff. So if you're looking for agency work where you can come and go, this will not be the right fit for you. We are looking for consistency, and our clients are looking for consistency. So please only apply with us if you can give us regular and consistent availabilities for shifts, and you're really keen on building solid relationships with us and with our clients. And if you're an intensive care specialist or an ED specialist, we also want to hear from you. We're currently expanding our medical team as well. We can also help you eliminate your bed blocks in your ICU and in your ED for your long-term patients, or for your regularly readmitting patients with our critical care nursing team at home. We're here to help you take the pressure off your ICU and ED beds, and in most cases, you won't even pay for it. Even if you do pay for it, it is so much more cost-effective than what you're paying for in ICU and ED, and you get the same level of care. If you are a hospital executive watching this and you have bed blocks in your ICU, ED, and respiratory wards, or home TPN, please reach out to us as well. We can help you eliminate your bed blocks very fast. If you're in the US or in the UK, and you're watching this and you need help, we want to hear from you as well. We can help you there privately with one-on-one consulting and with hiring nurses privately. Once again, our website is intensivecarehome.com. Call us on one of the numbers on the top of our website, or simply send us an email to info@intensivecarehome.com. And if you like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular updates for families with intensive care at home and intensive care. Click the like button, click the notification bell, share this video with your friends and families, and comment below what you want to see next, or what questions and insights you have from this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehome.com, and I will talk to you in a few days. Take care for now.